begins right now.
What's happening, Fight Week Show fans, Fight Week Show people, them salute to all of you, big up yourself, and we're back with another episode of Dust Up Shakedown here. We got some topics to get through, and we got a great panel, great set of people to help me navigate these topics tonight, because we've got some touchy topics, man, but we also got a special guest in the house. And before the special guest pull up, my brother, every week, every Dust Up Shakedown, is always here. Dane, how you doing, my bro?
What's happening, people? Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm sound. Yeah, I mean, just chilling. Fuck it, feels like we've not done this for a little while. Obviously, we missed last week. We had no card the week before. Feels like we've had a mega break, man. But we are back. You know what I mean? Right back in action. I like this new layout, bro. We can see this new font and shit at the top. Yeah, man's been getting upgrades. Yeah. I enjoy that.
We've been working. Leroy is always working in the back. And people, if you're listening live right now, make sure you spam in the chat with fuck Leroy. Leroy is a dickhead. Hashtag all of that bullshit. He is loving it. You know what I mean? And next to join me on the panel tonight, my brother from Head Kick Pod. Kick him in the head. It's Keith. How you doing, man?
Good evening, gentlemen. Kick him in the head. We are here as always, and like you said, Ola, I just woke up from a fantastic nap, and I had some very nice dreams about MMA. So yes, let's get into it. Excited as always, and like you said, Jordan, missing last week feels like we haven't done it for like 2 months, but yeah, good to be back.
Bro, my camera had cut off working and everything. I had to set this shit back up trying to come on before my camera was like, "Oh, I suppose we're retired. I'm out. See you later."
No. Look, it's been a nice break. It's been a nice break. I've been on work away. I was on work away for like 6 days. I was showing you, man, and Magdalene in the chat some of my experience. Shit that I ain't never seen before. Some afternoon tea, eating some scones in some ballroom. Yeah, these are things that, you know what I mean, only rich people can fucking deal with, man. You know what I mean?
No, say it from your heart. Say it from your heart. Only white people.
Oh, you motherfucker. We got some touchy topics coming up, man. We got some touchy topics coming up, man. You know what I mean? And we're gonna go there, but since you took it there, only the rich white people.
We're doing white man things at his holiday.
You know what I mean? Can have them afternoon teas and scones in the afternoon and go have a fucking nice dance in a big ass ballroom, listening to some fucking, what do you call them? The classical music. You know what I mean? Like that shit crazy. But somebody that loves the ruffle and tumble, loves the action in the cage, loves violence, beautiful violence, is no other than Big Shad. Shad, how you doing, man?
No, I'm alright, guys. I can't complain. Everything is perfect. Like, there's no need to complain in life. When things are going great in your life, mate. Yeah,
that's good to hear, bro. And yeah, we want to wish you happy birthday. You had a recent birthday that literally just gone past a little while back, but we didn't really get to give that to you on the show. So yeah, man, happy belated birthday, brother. Hope you had a good time.
I did. I appreciate it. It was a really fantastic day.
Yeah, man, 100%. So
I like that t-shirt, mate. Just before we move on, I've been eyeing that up since we jumped on this stream there, mate. That t-shirt is fly, like the EFC one. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
Look at that, man. That's the EFC t-shirt right there, man. You know what I mean? Hey, we need to be getting. Hey, yo, come on, man. You need to be hooking us up with this.
Hey, bro.
You know what I mean? Yeah, come on, bro. You got all the connections over there. You meeting all the idols over there. You know what I mean, bro? Come on, man. You're making us jealous all the way over here in the UK.
You probably have more collection than me.
Bro, the merch is so difficult to get. It's crazy getting merch. We spoke to Khutsum Ramupo. He also only got a cap. Like, getting EFC merch is so tricky. Shad, that is a beautiful t-shirt. That one you got is très magnifique.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, yeah. I mean, look, there's been a lot that's been going on in the MMA world, and we are going to touch about EFC 160 once we've gone through our topic. And obviously, we need to hear from Big Shad as well, because he's going to be competing on the card EFC 116. So we have a special segment for that. So people, make sure you're liking, make sure you're sharing, make sure you're hitting that like button, make sure you're subscribing to the Rambling Dad podcast, the Head Kick Pod, and the Fight Week Show. And make sure you're following Shadrach, Unsua, Shadrach, Blame Unsua, man. If you're not following this brother on
Damn
Instagram,
ye.
come on, make sure you're showing that love right there. Make sure you're joining them over there, man. Big up to Leroy in the background, man, doing the Lord's work as usual, man. Fuck you, Leroy.
Fuck
we
Leroy.
we're about to get this shit going, man. We're about to hey, it's all love. We love you, bro. Okay. Listen, Jon Jones. He's this brother is no stranger to being in the eyes of the media. He's no stranger to hiding under octagon fucking canvases. He's no stranger for doing hit and runs. Now he's in court for another bullshit. And this time he ain't Leroy spinning the clip no more. It's Ola. Spin the clip.
Jon Jones has been charged with 2 misdemeanors related to an alleged incident involving a drug testing agent who visited his home in March of this year. The heavyweight champion has been charged with assault and interference with communications. Jones allegedly appeared agitated and grabbed the agent's phone. Jones reportedly questioned the agents, including if the agents had money because he was going to sue them. Following the incident, Jones released a statement to social media. I was recently visited by testers while I was celebrating a birthday and taking a nap. Upon waking up, I was caught off guard by the unprofessionalism and protocol by one of the testers, which caused frustration, leading to me use some profanity I regret. However, I want to emphasize that at no point did I threaten, get in anyone's face, raise my voice to anyone, or engage in any form of assault. If convicted, Jones could face up to 1 year in jail, as well as fines totaling $1,500. The virtual bond hearing is scheduled for Wednesday, July 17, where Jones will be informed of the charges and asked to enter a plea.
Number one, in America, man, the fines are so disproportionate to the fucking jail time.
That's wild, isn't it? 1,500 quid. You know what I mean?
Quid. So a year in fucking prison. Like Jones will fucking wipe that with the fucking toilet. Fucking
I was about to say that Jones would have wiped his ass with 1,500 quid. Like
that's with 1,500 quid, man. Like what the fuck? Hey, Yao, you know what? Let us come to Yao first because you're the voice of reason in this of Jon Jones's matter, you know. I mean, we know Matt Dane, we got Jon Jones's gloves, so you know I'm not gonna come to Matt Dane yet.
Wipe my ass with Jon Jones's glove.
Yeah. Yo,
please. Look, where it comes to this, I think Jon Jones tends to get a bad rap. Just in general, look, we all know that he is the GOAT, but he is somewhat ducking Aspinall, etc., etc. But when it comes to his personal life, I wouldn't say he's made mistakes, but you know, because he's the best, his life is always in front of the media, and any small thing gets put in front of the media and gets blown, I wouldn't say out of proportion, but we get to see it with a microscope. You know, we get to see it in detail, which always, you know, if anyone looked in any of our lives with a microscope, you know, they'd always find something. So for me, I would take him at some sort of, I give him the benefit of the doubt on this one. Say, okay, look, I believe you use profanity, you're a fighter, you were upset because this person was doing whatever they were doing, so you know you didn't try and choke them out or anything crazy like what we heard on social media. So I support him in that one. And like you said, where it comes to fines versus jail time, America's another place. Like it's it's another place altogether. So I don't know how they balance it out. Yeah, let's just take the fine. It's nothing spectacular. He's not necessarily going to go to jail, but I think it's also trying to send a message to say, if you are being tested, yes, we're not part of USADA anymore, but if you have some sort of protocol that you need to follow the protocol, because that's what you need to do to be part of this organization. So I think it definitely sends that message, which is a good message, because at the end of the day, you need fighters that are following the protocol of whatever promotion that they're in, specifically if they're fighting at the highest level. You don't want fighters at the highest level not following protocol, because then we don't get to see the fights that we want to see as the fans and the fights that the promotion wants to put on. So I support them, you know, I guess stamping their authority and making sure this type of thing doesn't happen. But yeah, you know, it's Jon Jones at the end of the day. You know, you do have to have your best be accountable. So, okay.
Yep. We have that. Big up for fixing that, Magdane. I see you just fixed the interface on the right there on the screen, and salute for that. Okay. I mean, I'm gonna get Blammy's opinion on this, because we just seen in the chat just now, and Badman Math, big up yourself. He says I think it's not going to go to jail, but I think he should be stripped for refusing the test. Now, you, somebody that that compete professionally, what the rules and regulations are. Once you sign a bout agreement, once you sign a professional contract, really, you know what it entails to be in an organization like a EFC, like a UFC, like a Bellator,
Yeah.
PFL, all the other organizations across the world. What Jones is doing here, do you think it should be stripped? Do you think is something that needs to be looked at least by the UFC? Because it's one thing the commission punishing Jones, but it's one thing for the promotion also stripping Jones and punishing Jones in that way for not going through with the test. Maybe even some are saying it's taking too long. In terms of competing and maybe facing Tom Aspinall. What's your take on that?
For me, I go back to when he was young. First of all, like as a young kid, you make mistakes, you fuck up, and that's what makes you a better man in the end of the day because you've learned from it. And you get people that don't learn from their mistake. But Jon Jones is an exceptional person for me because Jon Jones was a lot wilder in his young age, and we know this man in the octagon. After octagon, there was always drama around it. Wherever he was, wherever he went, even early this year, there was drama around it. So we all know, like we can say it for the fact that he's not for a fact, but he's the biggest athlete in the UFC. He's like the biggest name in the UFC, the GOAT, and they wanna make sure that everything want to make sure everything is done properly. They want to make sure that everything. I mean, the fact that he was injured. For me, I kind of give him the benefit of a doubt as well. Why? Because they need to look at both sides of the story. Because at the moment, they kind of senses as a fighter, senses an athlete, the person that he is. They practically just accepting the fact that whatever the agent said, and they're kind of going with it. I'm like, yeah, but you gotta you kind of have to do the investigation, understand, okay, what he said, what was the altercation, like what type of verbal thing they said it to each other. Was it like a lot threatening? Was it just out of the emotions? Because as fighters, we're human, we've got emotions, like he said, the man said he was sleeping, and then you just wake him up, and then the way you would wake him up, the way they would do things, the way they want to kind of approach and talk to him, there should be procedures, precautions, how to do it. And for me, I know Jones had his moment off the cameras where he was wild and stuff, but for this one, for this one, for me, I'm like, I give him the benefit of the doubt because he's a grown man now. He understands in what position that he stands, and he understands the role that he's playing into the sports and outside the sport as well, because obviously he's a big image into the world, not just to himself, but to everybody else that he needs to people that look up to him. So I love the way he handled it, and I've never seen Jon Jones go on social media and kind of give his side of the story. He's always that guy is like, fuck it, yeah, it's done. So what? But the fact that he went on social media and gave his side of the story, that's got to tell you, the man, he's got feelings. He feels a bit, I don't want to say betrayed, but he feels a bit disrespected for who he is. You understand? He's like, you can do your job, but there's a certain way to do it instead of you basically making my life a bit difficult. So I do give him a benefit of the doubt, and I feel like the promotion or the law should make sure that they do the investigation properly. And they look at both sides of the stories, if I may say, or they look at both sides of the guys again, what's happening on the left side, what's happening on the right side, and put all of them together and figure out a way. The fine, yes, they can fine him. I mean, man is a millionaire, but that money is practically changed to him. So, the fact that the fact that he wrote what he wrote on social media, he feels he's right, and he believes that he's right at the decision or the action that he took. And he said it, I did not do anything to harm the man or to put him in a situation where he felt like he was in danger. So I think they need to relook at it or look at it and just make sure that it's done right and give a man a break, man. he's good at what he does. So, and I don't know how many times been tested. We know he in his past life, they've caught him a few times with substance and stuff, but we should understand the fact that he the last fight against Cyril again, how easy he made it look like. I gotta tell you the level that he's in and the type of fighter that he's in. So regarding Espinal, for me, I'm like, I really want that fight to happen, but there's a lot of things that happens behind closed door that obviously Dana White and the rest of the team will not bring out there for us to see. For me, that's a really good fight to look at because both of them, they've got exceptional skills. And as much as I would like to say Espinal can take it, but I'm like, still Jon Jones is a god for me. And you got to look at it in this way as well. What fight is going to sell at the moment? Because I'm sure Dana White is looking at the fact that, hey, if I can put Espinal and Jon Jones and put Alex Pereira and Jon Jones, you'll buy a ticket to go watch Alex Pereira and Jon Jones.
Take my money. Take my money. Yeah, take my money, bro.
That's I'm sure that's what Dana White is also thinking at the moment. But Espinal is right to want a title fight, and yeah, it's a very tricky situation that he is in at the moment regarding the fact that he's a champion. There's an interim champion, and then there's Alex Pereira that want to fight him, and then he's kind of going through this situation as well. So it's a kind of tricky one that he's going to. I don't think that Dana will strip this man off his title because he's the biggest name in the business outside Conor McGregor. So they want to make sure they look after him as much as they can. So for me, I feel like I do give him benefit of the doubt, and they need to look at both sides of the story and see how they can handle it professionally.
Yes, Jon Jones, if you're watching and you need a lawyer, you got a very good one here in Big Shot. He made a very good case for you, brother. You know what I mean? So Jones, if you're watching and you need a lawyer, Big Shot is here, right here for you, man. You know what I mean? He'll defend you to the high heavens. But one man that I know would not hold and not mince his words is McDane over here. Hey, McDane, Jones has got this pattern. He's got a rap shit, bro. As long as my fucking arm. Yeah, the rap shit just, you know what I mean? Man said he made mistake. All right. But the rap shit in the court of law, where he's about to go and face a year in jail, they look at rap shits, they look at patterns, they look at what you've done before, they look at your fuck ups and how regularly you do those fuck ups. McDane, please give us your take on this clip that we just seen.
Send this man to jail. No, I'm joking. Is he going to go to jail? No, he ain't. Yeah, I mean, he ain't going nowhere near a prison, and 1,500 quid fine. That's why he's pleaded not guilty. He's just gone, whatever, fucking hit me with it, because I'm going to get, if anything, community service and a little fine. Sound, I'll take that, whatever. Just from the back of what Shad was saying, how we need a bit more context on how this was all dealt with. Obviously, he's given a little bit of his side, they've given a little bit of their side, but did they just walk into his house and wake him up? Have they knocked the door and woke him up? Because if they've knocked your door and woke, how are you approaching that door of him? Like you say, he's much older now. He's got the rap sheet, the length of your arm. You should know how to behave as a grown ass man to go into your front door, regardless of who's there. You know what I mean? And again, when you look at previous behaviors, yes, he's shown aggressive tendencies. So is he going to be showing those again? Even though he's saying that we need to hear more. We need to, from both sides. We need to get more of the story. We need more of the context, and that's pretty much how
we heard what happened with his baby mom. You know what I mean? That hotel,
exactly.
This man's got a rap sheet, bro.
This man has got a rap sheet, and there's no denying it either. And like you say, he also likes to hide. So is he hiding from the wall like he hid from USADA underneath that octagon or what? But testing is also part of your career. It's part of your job. They're going to turn up. It's going to happen. You've not got a choice. They're not going to tell you when they're coming, because then you can try and dip the box a little bit, you know what I mean, and play the game to your advantage, which obviously they shouldn't be doing. So it's a funny situation, a very, very funny situation. But yeah, send his ass to jail. Fuck him up. Make him regret every life choice he's ever fucking made, and then give Tom the heavyweight title fucking belt like he deserves.
And listen, big up to everybody that's just joining us right now. I see Crossover MMA, big up yourself. Matua Sablan, salute to you. Big up to both of you, man. Mato Sabla just put a comment in the chat just now as we got on the screen. He says if Jon Jones goes to prison, does Haspinall set himself up to go to prison to challenge him for that title? And what crime should Aspinall be going to prison for? In a hypothetical situation, we've seen bare people, right? Obviously, in the movie situation and shit, where one of their family members go to jail or somebody that done something to them went to jail and they think, you know what, I'm going to go and get myself locked up so I can get that motherfucker in there. You know what I mean? So I think that's the scenario that my man is talking about here. So if Aspinall was to set himself up to go and fight that motherfucker in there, what crime should he be coming in to get himself? You know him well, Magdane. Tell us what sort of crime.
He's been doing some of the old the gypsy training recently. You know what I mean? Dipping the old knuckles in some petrol, I believe. So it'll probably be something along the lines of lock, stock, and two smoking barrels, or snatch, or something. You know what I mean? You want to buy a dag? You might be doing some dog fighting, or you know what I mean, selling caravans dodgily to like rent some money. Who knows? You know what I mean? A bit of laundering.
There you go, Mato Sablan, man. Thank you very much for that question. I think Magdane answered it well. Bro, for me, I still think, and you guys have raised some very, very valid points for and against Jones. But in my opinion, yeah, he's not going to go to jail. I really do think the UFC should either force his hand to face Tom, although we got a fight coming up in 2 weeks between Tom and Curtis Blades. But for me, I think they should scrap that interim title fight, strip Jones, and make that fight a title fight. And whoever wins can go see Jones when Jones comes back. When Jones is ready to come back. That's what I think should happen. Tom should not be defending the interim title, bro. That's the whole point. Like he's defending, it's basically killing the whole idea of interim title and holding the interim title. Once you got interim title, you're supposed to be seeing the champion, the undisputed champion, to unify the title. That's the whole basis of earning the interim title. It's basically the number one contender to the champion. So
even your boy John Anik said this is a defense.
You know, you can't be defending interim titles, bro. Like, this is crazy to me. And that's why I think the UFC should strip Jones, make this fight between Blades and Tom Aspinall, make it an undisputed title, and whoever wins that, Jones can come and challenge them, and if he wins, he can get the belt back. You know what I mean? Whenever he's ready, then there's no rush for Jones to come back. But whilst he's holding the belt, he's holding up the division, where the interim champion now is now having to defend the interim title, which is not something we've even seen. I don't think I've seen it in the UFC. Like, I don't know if anybody's seen it. Please let us know in the chat if anyone of you man on the panel have seen it. I can't remember it happening. So why should Tom Aspinall be going through that? He's earned the right to fight for the title, and if the champion is not ready, especially within the time span, within the time limit, which is usually a year, then you should be getting relieved of that title, and you can come back and compete for it.
Facts right there. If Blades wins in that situation, I bet John finds his balls and disregards Stipe in that situation.
This is the kind of thing that I'm talking about, and this shouldn't be happening, because Jones ain't even active right now. It's not active, and we here seeing the interim champion being more active than Jones in the time that Jones has won the title. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me.
I was saying a second ago, depending on how long this court case actually gets dragged out for and whatever's going to happen with it, how long is Stipe really going to wait when he's sitting there waiting on retirement? Yeah, I mean, like, how long is Jon Jones going to be getting this Dana White privilege to see how long he can fucking hold on to this belt for? You know what I mean?
Maybe that's a new record he's going for. That's a new record.
I feel like that what they say that Jon Jones has always been getting a privilege. Why? Because I mean, as a prolific man that he is in a cage, if you can ask Dana White, there's two people that I've always felt that Dana White will give the biggest privilege in the UFC. It's between, actually I'll say three, because it's gonna have to be between Conor McGregor, Jon Jones, and Khabib. They got the fattest privilege in the UFC. So for me, I feel like if it was anybody else that were going through this type of shit, Dana White would have stripped them off the title a long time ago. And to unify the heavyweight, you know, I mean, look at what happened to Ngannou, how quickly things turned with Ngannou. Yeah. And you see how different it is now with Jon Jones. He's practically the favorite. He's that baby that all the look
Yuri Prochaska, Jamal Hill. They all had to vacate when they got injured. You know what I mean? Like,
you know. And thank you to Bad MMA Math. He says Arlovsky did the same when Frank Mir had a motorbike accident. In the case of what I'm talking about here with Jones, like the amount of situations he's gotten himself into in the time that is meant to be at least either unifying the title, defending the title, doing something with the title. He hasn't been in that situation, you know. So, but yeah, I get the proximity, and thank you very much for that one. Bad MMA Math, salute to you. Thank you very much for pulling that up. And salute to Murphy as well. Thank you very much for pulling up. Big up yourself. Salute to you, Murphy. And Rosie's in the house. Big up yourself, Rosie. Salute to you, man. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much, Rosie. Okay, we approaching half hour on the topic now, and let's get on to the next topic, because this next one here, I believe we're going to spend a little bit of time on this one. And this one here is something that's kind of close to me. It's close to all of you, and we've been in this story for quite some time. But now there's been some new developments. Since this fight got announced, Easy has done his best to revive this old beef. And I would like to say he succeeded. He definitely succeeded. You know what I mean? I said it when Easy fucking put that fucking clip out with Hitler doing that fucking crazy dance to Nipsey Hussle's songs, rap niggas, right? Yeah. But the way that this whole thing is gone now, so close to the fight, a lot of people are cussing. They're spitting out their opinion. Angela Hill has spoken out. Sadiq Yusuf has spoken out. We've had Temba Gorimbo. Shout out to Temba Gorimbo as well. He's spoken out. You know, a lot of people have spoken out. But let us spin the clip and see what really transpired. Ola, spin the clip. Let's go.
As you guys already know, Dricus Du Plessis will defend his middleweight title against Israel Adesanya on August 17th at UFC 305. Tensions have been rising already. Abdul Razak Al Hassan had some words for the champion during a fighter meeting prior to his UFC Denver fight.
I respect his the part of say he represents in Africa, right? I respect the things he's done in MMA. But he's a fucking bitch. He's a fucking asshole for that word that he used, right? If he's a fucking real African and he lived in Africa, he would have never used that fucking word. He's a fucking bitch ass to use that word. Because an African, right? If he raised the poor people in Africa the way I was raised, the way I grew up, with how I go days without food. I have to see my friends eating, and I'll be like, hey bro, can you give me 1 teaspoon of your food so I can put in my mouth? That's how I'll survive for a few days until I can get money. So if we get the opportunity to leave that shithole, of course, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to call my country a shithole, but I'm poor. If I can go to America, right, or can go to a different country to make a better life for myself, I'll fucking cut out of my leg to fucking go, right? If he's a true African, right, he would have understood that. That means he's living the comfortable life. His family had the money to feed him every day, so he didn't have to worry about leaving to go and make it. So for him to say he's a true African champion that lived there and he made it, he's a fucking bitch for saying that. I respect what he's done, but he's a bitch for that.
Speaking to SB Nation, Themba Gorimbo also had some words for Dricus.
I saw that interview, when he said that he's a real African who breathes himself. He said people are people are trying to redo this thing, you know, like we all have to come out and say something like we have to what Dricus said was wrong, right? Firstly, he was not at that time and point when that interview was done, him and Cameron were not the only African fighters who breathe and smells African air, wake up in an African sun with the African address. I was in Africa too, and we trained 30 minutes away from each other. He knew about me. He talked to me a week before when I lost my fight. He talked to me like, and I'm like, okay, bro, thank you so much. You know, he's like, sorry about yours, whatever. But at that point in time, he was wrong, and obviously I didn't have a foot to stand on because I was coming off a loss. You can't come off a loss and come and claim and be like, hey, what about me too, bro? You know, people will be like, hey, bro, know where you're standing. We're just coming off a loss. Get out of here, you know? So I kind of like took a back step on that, but it ate me too, to be honest. It ate me, you know, like it ate me that the guy is saying myself and Cameron are the only African fighters who lives and breathes the African air, who wake up in Africa. And everyone can try to say whatever they say. Go and listen to that interview. That's exactly what he said, you know? Myself and Cameron are the only African fighters who lives and breathes the African air, who wakes up in Africa. You know, that was not cool. And then with the story with Easy and Kamaru Usman and the other guys, he was right. But he was also not right because the belts have gone to Africa. Ngannou took his belt to Cameroon. Adesanya went to Nigeria. Kamaru went to Nigeria. But do they live and train in Africa? No.
As reported by the African Fighters on Instagram, Dricus acknowledged Garimbo along with a message. Yes, I did. Longest I've ever been out of Africa has been 6 weeks, you idiot. I told you I'll knock you out or make you tap again if you ever try to shake my hand again, you snake.
I'm telling you that one there is spicy. Let's come to the only white guy on this panel right now.
I was gonna say I'm gonna take a step out of this one, boys.
Oh, before you got out, Jeff, I was good. Yeah. I knew you was gonna try.
I've got African in me. Some of y'all originated from Africa. I've got 2% in there somewhere. Yeah, I mean,
no. Look, I you know, all of that crazy shit aside, right? But based on before you go ahead, right? I want to say, I kind of, and I'm sure you know both Yao and Big Shad here would attest to this. I know what Al Razak was talking about there, where you have to go and beg for food and tell somebody just put one little spoon in your hand so you can. I've been there. I know that life, bro. Like I grew up on that life. I grew up like in a big household where like 15 of us have to eat from one pot. And that pot's so hot. If you don't eat fast, you're going hungry, bro. Yeah. All your cousins and your big brothers and your step brothers, they're taking all the food. You're going hungry, and they ain't waiting for your ass. They ain't waiting for you. You will go hungry. You go and beg your neighbors. You go and beg your friends. You know, give me one spoonful. Give me one mouthful. So I know what Al Razak was saying there. But I've also been on the other side of this fence where I said, you know what, I understand where Dricus was coming from based on the factual things that he was saying in terms of he lives at home, he lives on African soil, wakes up there, trains that are there. So I know what he was trying to say there at the same time. But you on that, and that's something that's deeper, but on the surface level of what they're talking about, Magdane, right? I wanted to get your opinion on, is it mad that Izzy's actually reignited this whole beef, and now look how much fire is caught in the first place to sell the fight? Because ultimately this is about selling the fight. When you look at it, Magdane, please.
Well, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, and I was like, we don't need this to sell this fucking fight. You know what I mean? Right. Like we don't need all of this beef. We don't need these words. We don't need the disrespect. We don't need any of it. The fight will sell regardless. You know what I mean? But look what it's done. Like, you've got people coming out on fucking left wing, bro, and like firing shots at everybody and each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's causing more division than it's causing anything else. And it's not what Africa, South Africa, or anything need from a white man's outside perspective. Just knowing a little bit about the history of it all. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of segregation and division throughout the countries, like throughout history. And I just, sorry, boys, I'll let the dog out. I don't think it's needed in the fight. I don't think it's needed to build it up, to hype it up, but it's out there now. It's in the ether and people are going to talk about it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to let the experts run with this one because I don't want to dip my foot too
that's
far
why I
into
gave you
African
that's why I
soil,
gave you the
yeah.
surface question. That's why I gave you the surface question. Answer it and get the fuck out of here, bro. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna come to Big
Peace.
Shad now. I'm gonna come to Big Shad now and get some proper in-depth look and thought process, and maybe even out of war in what Izzy is doing and what's going on right now with some of the other fighters coming out. So, Big Shad, like, what do you see? Because you made a good case for Jones. Now I need to see you make a good case for Izzy or Dricus. Fire away.
Yeah, but for me in this scenario, when the first time he said it, he was in the octagon. When they gave him the mic, he said the real African. Like, I spoke to my friend about that last week as well. I was like, look, mate, sometimes we say things in a way that is misunderstood, or we say things verbally wrong, but we meant it differently. For me, when Dricus said it, I looked at it in a way of having him from SA or from Africa, and then winning the title. Because as we looked at it, we previously had 3 African world champions. But now we've got a middleweight who lives in Africa. You understand? That's what he wanted to make. That's basically how I would say he said it. For me, I give an example of 2 different sports. We look, if I can look at football, in 2 ways. You look at the Premier League, and then you look at what we have here in South Africa called the PSL. So in a PSL, we've got obviously players that have dreams to go play in the Premier League, and they will do anything to go in England or in any other country overseas to have a better training facility, a better coaching staff that can help them reach their potential as a player or as a human being on its own. The same way you gotta look at it in rugby. In rugby, we've got a team called Ireland. Ireland, they practically have like 45 to 50% of South Africa, and different people from different countries are playing in Ireland national team. And we still recognize them as South African, even though they don't play in South Africa. You understand? And for me, I kind of disagree to what Dricus said to say, because currently it's kind of dividing the fact that we're all African. It don't matter where you went in life, or you've left your country and go to a different country. You did not leave your country to go to a different country for fun. None of us wanted to leave our country. None of us, wanted to go to a different country and then trying to find a better life, because we felt we feel that this is the motherland. This is where for me, I love the fact that all 3 of them, Dricus, Kamari, and Ganu, when they won their belts, they came back home. They did not just stay there. They came home to honor their people, to appreciate the soil, to appreciate the ancestors, because it's all about the ancestry. It's all about where you come from, the roots. It don't matter where you go in life, how far you leave your own home to go. You will always think back to where you're from, because your motherland is home. And for me, I don't want to say that Dricus is wrong for saying what he said, but he was supposed to phrase it better. He was supposed to put it out there way better, because like Temba said, we're all African. We're supposed to build each other. We're not supposed to be breaking each other. We're not supposed to be, bashing each other. And for me, this is a very good fight. This is a big fight between 2 African brothers that are getting in the octagon to trying to showcase their skills, to trying to showcase their talent. And instead of them trying to be like, I'm more African than you, we're like, hey, look, we never thought 2 African will headline the UFC. You understand?
Thank you.
Look at it that way, instead of you trying to bash each other like, I'm more African than you, because we broke that. We passed that. we don't recognize ourselves in our skin colors. We don't recognize ourselves from, for me, I always look at it this way, mate. Even if you live in the UK, even if you don't know your ancestry, if you go back to your roots, you will know where your ancestors come from, Africa, and your blood is African. You can never change that. That's a fact. And regardless of how long I can stay in the UK, or in America, or in France, my blood will always come back to the fact that I am an African child. And for me, I just felt like there's a better way to sell a fight. There's a better way to disrespect. If you want to disrespect the other guy, there's a better way to do it instead of actually touching that one point. Because I'm gonna bring a bit of a color issues here. Because as a black man, when you come up and you say I'm more African than you, that's just like touches the spot. I would tell you, that's like, mate, what do you mean you're more African than me, brother? Because as an African child, you know the struggle. You understand the struggle. You understand. I wouldn't want to leave my country I would never want to leave my country to come to SA with my parents if, things were going great in the DRC. I understand. And imagine now I left the DRC and went to France like Ngannou did. Wouldn't I be recognized as an African as well? Because I believe I'm African. I just went there to look for a better life, or I just left to go there to practically better my career, to better my future, because I know you might be surprised, his plan is not to stay in Australia for the rest of his life. He wants to retire back in Nigeria. He just wants to build everything that he wants to build wherever he is. And, because for me, I look at it and in this sport, we're doing it because we love it, but we're also doing it to better our lives, to make money in the end of the day. And Dricus found a really good loophole to do it, because he started the sport in a younger age. He did it he made his debut at the age of 19. He's had 11 years to be where he is right now. And then you look at the facility that we have right now I won't say Africa, I'm going to say SA. You understand? Because if I can go to Nigeria, if I can go to Zambia, if I can go to Cameroon, I do not think they've got the same structure or facility that we have here in SA, or CIT would have. Why? Because we are much, even in every other sport, we kind of, in SA, we're kind of a bit more advanced when it comes to other countries in Africa. So I feel like what Adesanya is doing out there, it's also reflecting back in Nigeria, because he won't just want to do good for himself. He wants to come back in Nigeria and build as much as he can and help the people in Nigeria to be in a level that he is in. So for me, it's like, he's trying to help the country. He's trying to help the people. He's trying to, I don't want to blame, I don't want to be like Dricus was wrong, because I understand what he was saying. I know how he was phrasing it. And he could have put it better and made easy understand, like, oh, mate, look, what I'm trying to say is we're both African. We're both real African. But I think in the perspective of being the realist African, I'm much more real in you at the moment, because I'm staying here with my belt. You understand? It's not like you're not African, because Africa is as much as he's African enough as much as because he is African. But both for me, in my eyes, I look at them both the same. I don't dispute now. This one is African. This one is not. Why? Because they both come from here. They were both born here, and one of them just decided to go look for a better life in a better way. And it's not like he made that decision himself. It's his parents that made that decision for him. And for him to be in a level that he is, he gives credit to his parents who are African. You understand? He doesn't give credits to Australia or New Zealand. He gives credits to his parents who are African. So that gotta tell you. And if you look at Izzy, he embraces the culture. He speaks in a language. You look at Ngannou, he comes back home because he knows, look, the fact that I see Ngannou posting, sitting next to his mother, eating out of, the wooden fire, that tells you a lot about the human being itself. Because if they thought well of themselves, they wouldn't want to come back home and do what they're doing, helping the people here back home, and sitting basically next to a wooden fire. Look at the world champion himself sitting on a wooden fire, having meal next to the mother, shoveling up sand, trying to build things in your home country just to help your people, because that's the facility they don't have. That's the thing. So they're going out to get as much knowledge as they can. And I'm pretty sure when they retire, they're going to bring it back to Cameroon. They're going to bring it back to Nigeria. And that's going to help a lot. I mean, look what Kamara did. The promotion he started in Nigeria. You can't tell me he's not African. He would have started it in America. But look what he did. He went to Nigeria to do it in Nigeria. So you can see what these guys are doing. They're trying to build back here. They're trying to give back to the soil. So for me, no disrespect to them. I feel like there's a better way to solve this thing. There's a better way to actually have a conversation about between Dricus and Easy, because I'm sure after the fight they're gonna have a talk about it and put it behind them, because this is not the way, and there's a better way to handle it, because the dispute of who's African enough shouldn't be amongst the African on their own. It should be, mate, let's lift each other's. We should have like 3-4 guys headlining in a UFC from the co-main event down up until the whole main card. That's what we want. You understand? It's not that we want to have one African shining there and then have 17 Americans, the champions. We don't want that. We want Dana White to start coming down to Africa as well. You understand? Because that's now you'd be like, oh wait, there's talent in Africa. Because the fact that they had Usman, Kamara, they had Kamara, they had Ngannou, they had Adesanya. Now they've got Dricus. Now you look at Dana White, he's talking a lot about Africa. Why? Because he looks at the 4 Africans that were reigning, and then the one who's reigning currently right now. The development, the things that they've done in the promotion, it's magnificent. So for me, I don't blame Temba for saying what he said, because he did not disrespect anyone. He just stated fact, like, look, that's not the way it should be done. And he also mentioned something in the text, in his wording, saying the fact that Dricus went overseas to train. Why? Because he needed to add on his arsenal a certain skill. That's why he's like, I'm gonna go to Tiger Muay Thai. I'm gonna go overseas to train, to get ready for the fight overseas. So it's not like you abandoning your country. You're not. It's just that you want to look for a better way to better your career, a better loophole to go through to accomplish your dream. For me, that's how I kind of look at it as well.
Yeah, man. You spoke very well, as always, Big Shad.
Thanks, brother.
Again, you basically balanced both sides very, very well. But I want to come to Yao on this topic, because a lot's happened since we last spoke about this. Yao, you want to get something off?
So I don't want to disrespect his career, but he's a bitch. He's a fucking bitch. Shout out to Abdul Razak Al Hassan for that switch up.
That brother's always angry, man. That brother's always fucking angry.
Funniest shit you've ever done, I swear to God.
That was awesome. Look, Abdul Razak is always angry in press conferences. It reminds me of Mano Cap. Mano Cap is always like the same. Even you, Big Shad, when you're on your press conference fucking energy, man, you be looking like Abdul Razak sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, man. You're a scary motherfucker. You know what I mean? Yeah, even you, when you're your press conference shit, like fucking hell, Big Shad just switched up the fucking. He just switched the fucking flick like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, please talk to us, because what we've seen here, and Big Shad rightly said it. This card should be filled up with Africans and African prospects. The same way when they go to Mexico, they fill up the card with Mexican. They come into England, they fill up the card with English people. They go to Brazil, they fill up the card with Brazilian people. They go to Asia and Dubai, they fill up the card with Dagestani and Russian people. You see what I'm trying to say, right? So when we have the very first time that 2 Africans are going to headline a card, this is the shitstorm we get, and it shouldn't be happening like that. But in isolation, when you look at this actual topic and this Pandora's box, that's now been opened and everybody's chiming. And big up Matwa Sablan, he's been going nuts in the chat on Dricus. Salute to you, Big up yourself. But when you look at this situation here, what's your take on on now the comeback that we're seeing with Dricus hitting back Temba like that, saying he's gonna break his hand, he's gonna break his neck, he's a snake and all this shit. Like, bro, what's going on?
Look, I think when like McDane said, when we spoke about this a few weeks ago, I said I want to see Izzy get back to the original Izzy, who was there to give us a show, there to entertain us, and there to fight his ass off. And like you said, when he posted that video, you could see there was something coming. We could see where this was going to go. And I think for me, quite frankly, how many of us would have really been talking about Abdul Razak Al Hassan at this point? None of us. So, as much as it's not very pleasant, it's now given all the African fighters an opportunity to chime in to then be at the front of this media shitstorm. So, maybe getting us to that card and getting our fighters onto that sort of card, the main card fighters we want to see. Maybe this just happens to be the way. Something this controversial, something that is this, I wouldn't use the word polarizing, but something that gets their voices listened to. Because that essentially what is happening now is that then you've got Temba Garimbo, who is still working himself up to main cards, up to main card and pay-per-views. He's now being heard. So for me, as much as it's not very pleasant, we're talking about them. And at the end of the day, that's what we say is good for their media as individual fighters. So it's unpleasant, but let's go. Let's see how much further it goes. Let's hope it doesn't go too far, because we know when you're dealing with Americans and American sports, it can get very, very intense, and the threats can go a bit far. They will
They're not gonna
milk it.
milk it. It's already milking it.
But if you think back to the days of Rampage Jackson and all the crazy things fighters back then used to say, this isn't that serious. It's not that spectacular. We've just become a little bit PC in the fight world over the past 6, 7, 8 years. But previously, people were saying crazy, insane things. If you think of some of the things that Colby Covington, all the guys used to say up until like 2020. Look, let's go. Especially because they
Remember
are
Tyson says
African
he's gonna
fighters
eat people's
commenting on
kids and all that type of shit, man. Tyson used to talk
I
some crazy shit.
mean,
Man. Mike Tyson was crazy, bro. That brother was serious. He was serious, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I hear what you're
I'm all
saying,
for
yo.
it. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. I hear what you're saying. I mean, look, for me, when you look at this fight here, I've said it countless times. I've been here multiple times, stating it. Dricus is a friend of the show. We've had him on the show, a few times, and also Cameron Simon as well. A lot of the guys out there from South Africa, and he's my countryman, and just following his career, seeing what he's done back home. Big Shot said earlier on the charity stuff that he does back home is incredible. With Usman going back home, creating the ACO show, and giving fighters and African talent opportunities to showcase their skills, so they could get picked up by bigger promotions as well. That's something that where is really, really giving back. And we've seen what's happened with Francis, even with the death of his son, that recently passed away. He's still working in the background with PFL, and it's just they are right in the middle of bringing PFL Africa to life, where Nigeria is going to be the front and center of where where they're going to build that tournament over there. So there are things that are work going on in the background that these guys have been doing, and since they've been champions, all they've been calling for, to be fair to those three, in Usman, Francis, and Izzy, is UFC Africa. They've been wanting it for so long. Now Dricus joined the line of champions that's come out of Africa. He wants that more than anyone as well. And you're right. Maybe he could have phrased it in a way where it doesn't rub people up the wrong way. But Dricus is a fucking fighter, bro. It's not there to make anybody feel nice about what he's saying. Yeah. It's not there to help your hiccups. If you're feeling hiccup from whatever he says, you don't give a fuck. If you want it, you can come get it based on what I said. And I think that's the energy that Dricus is given. That's
do you know what I think's the funniest about all of this is it was Izzy that fucking started it by getting in the octagon and dropping bombs on him. Yeah, I mean,
Izzy didn't start it. Izzy's reacting to what rubbed him the wrong way that Dricus said, in terms of saying he's going to be the first real African champion to bring the belt back home and all this other stuff. That first, so Izzy, that's just Izzy reacting to what Dricus has said. But I still think Dricus is standing on
Is he
business.
the Chinaman?
Again, you know, he's been everywhere. You could call him Chinaman, you could call him you call him a Kiwi, you call him any, you know what I mean? You call him whatever you want, right? But Dricus is standing on business. Easy standing on business. I think, look, and Yao's right. We've seen some other crazy ways that fights has been sold. Maybe this is not the worst, but I don't think it's also what we need as Black people, as you know, Africans. I don't think it's what we need. But you know what I mean? It's causing a little bit of divide. It's not the worst way that you know that we've seen fights being sold in all kind of crazy ways. But this one here, I just don't think we really need it. But look, everybody's standing 10 toes down. They're gonna duke it out in the cage. And yeah, you want to say something?
Just a quick one there to Matua Sablan, who's mentioned 3 different genres of music that Dricus doesn't like that are South African. Shout out to you.
I've seen you just smiling away there every time you read one of his comments.
Look, if you don't like Miriam Makeba, I don't know what's wrong with her. I love that woman. That woman there is like Aretha Franklin to me. That's what that woman represents to me. My childhood, growing up, Miriam Makeba, one of the fucking best. That you know that came out.
Bro, I've literally just read the story of Aretha Franklin to my daughter as she was going to bed. So I got a little people, big dreams book, and Aretha Franklin is tonight's story.
Incredible, man, incredible. I mean, you know that's just one of those things. But look, we look at this fight here, and I've not really got like official prediction from you two, but I think I can get at a later date. But with where Big Shad is right now, I want to get an official prediction from you. Who you think will win this fight, and you know, method of victory, or what round, or how you see this fight really happening, Big Shad?
For me, as like it's a 50-50 fight. Why? Because Dricus fights moving forward. He just goes forward, and Adesanya wants you to come forward. And that's where problem becomes. Was Adesanya is more of a technical striker, where his footwork, he just wants to touch and irritate you so he can come forward. But for me, I feel Dricus is a big boy. I mean, that man takes you down, he holds you down, he can do a couple of damage there. So I'm not sure what's the game plan for his fight is, but this seems a bit of a personal fight. And watching the last fight of Dricus, that man can take a punch. So I want Dricus to win, to be honest, because I mean it's good for us in South Africa here. He's putting us on the map. He's helping us move forward. And if Adesanya wins, I wouldn't dispute that as well, because, like I say, for me, they're both Africans. They're both headlining, and they're both Africans, and they're both obviously gonna make us proud. Why? Because the belt's still gonna come back to Africa anyway. But I don't want to overlook at what Dricus has done in the UFC. Is undefeated at the moment in the UFC, and he's finished, I think, only one fight he went to a decision, which was Sean Strickland, if I'm not wrong. And that's a very high level of finishes if you can look at it. And what Whitaker tells about how hard that man hit. He tells you a big story, how explosive he is, how strong he is. He tells you a big story into that as well. And I look at the fight between Adesanya and Pereira, the second one, where Adesanya knocked out Pereira. It also gives me a bit of an idea of how strong that man can be, because to knock out a big man like that, that's you gotta take a punch and a power into you. So I'm going 50-50, but if you ask me to be biased, I'll be like, I want Dricus to win. I'm sorry.
All right. Okay. Yeah. You know what? I mean, look. Sometimes in this life, you pick things based on, one, what could benefit you, two, you know, what your preference is, and three, you know, it's something that really benefits South African fighters as well, and people that fight in South Africa. Because I know you're not South African. I know you're from the DRC, but you do live in South Africa, and you move us so. So I definitely get your point on that. Okay. Big up to everybody that's been watching us live. Salute to every single one of you. We're just touching the hour mark, and we're going to jump onto the third topic right now before we see a conversation with Big Shad about EFC 116. So big up every single one of you. Make sure you're hitting that like button, the share button, the subscribe button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Fight Week Show, the Rambling That podcast, and the Head Kick podcast. Kick them in the head. Make sure you're showing love. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do all of that good stuff. Dust Up Shakedown is live right now. Big up to every single one of you. Okay, let's get on to this next topic here. This one here is not as crazy.
Very quickly. I'm sorry. I just there's one more thing on the Adesanya DDP. I know we've gone a long time.
Please.
I was there when DDP landed from Toronto after defeating Sean Strickland, and that's one of the things that a homegrown champ is that they come back to the country. So as soon as they land, you as their people are there to welcome them back. So I hear all of that, but there are certain things that a home champion, not even African, it's called a home champion, brings with them. I can drive down the road right now to CIT and say, guys, it's Thursday, it's your media day, I'm here to see the title. I can do that. Whereas if you are elsewhere, you cannot do that. And that is what a home champion is. So that's what Dricus was talking about. If you want to see the belt, come to South Africa. It's that simple. Not that you must go to Miami if you want to see the belt if someone else is holding it. So with all of these discussions, that's really what he was saying. But yeah, we can get on to the next one. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem at all. We have this fight that's happening late hours of Saturday night. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry. It was supposed to be Mike Tyson, but I'm happy we've got another Mike, a younger Mike, a Mike that ain't gonna die also in the fucking ring. I don't know why any commission would have fucking sanctioned that fight. I'm glad it's not fucking happening. Like you have no idea how glad I am, because all I keep thinking in my head is, what if Jake Paul sparks out the fucking scariest box I have ever that I grew up watching? You know, this is my era. Like, what is possible that Jake Paul could do this to him? I don't want to see that. But Mike Perry, I can live with it. You know what I mean? But before we get onto that, let's hit the clip. Big up, people.
Jake Paul versus Mike Perry goes down this Saturday in Tampa, Florida. The bout will consist of 8 rounds at the cruiserweight limit. Leading up to this contest, Jake Paul and Mike Perry met up for a face-to-face interview, with both fighters exchanging in taunts and verbal scrummages.
I think the shoes are fake, though.
Yeah, why not, man? They only made 2 pairs. They say they're $500K.
I don't know. What else are you lying about?
That's fine, bro. I'm from the hood, bro. At least these bitches look
from
good.
Private
They match my fit.
You went to private school.
I'm gonna beat you. This is a chance for me.
That's what every MMA fighter
this is what they sell.
Every MMA fighter.
This is what they sell. But these MMA fighters ain't been doing what I've been doing.
Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley was the actual champion. You're not an actual champion.
Prime. They were older. I'm just now reaching prime. I'm just now getting to where I've been doing my best. I learned through the UFC, which was a tough place to learn. And since learning, now I'm having this success brawling these people, those tendencies. I'm going to exploit those green tendencies in this fight. And you will break. You look very flubbery. I'm hard as a fucking rock. My shit is fucking shredded. And I was mocking you, bro.
You're losing. It's a game.
Your hair is moving. It's moving away from your head.
Hey, bro. I'm going to Turkey soon, okay? And this is a Mike appetizer. So yes, the Mike Tyson fight is happening November 15th, but I need to stay active and take out Mini Mike right here. This is a different sport. This is a different ball game. And the fact that he has his chin in the air and his defense sucks, he's gonna get exposed in less than 6 minutes. That's all it's gonna take.
Jake, I'm
happy for you and all that, or sorry for your loss. I wasn't really listening to what you said there.
Come square between the eyes and he's gonna go like this.
I got hit. Mike Perry's hitting me. Help!
I'm gonna try to knock out some of them teams.
They're already kind of falling out a little bit. This one's fucked up. You could maybe straighten my nose.
Thank you. They finally gonna see me.
I know. You can thank me.
Oh, brother, let me tell you what they're gonna see. Let me tell you what they're gonna see, Michael Perry. You listen to me, brother. You're going down, flat into the ground. When I get my hands on you Saturday night, I'm gonna eat you in one bite.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, sir, Michael Perry.
He's rhyming, but
You
he
ain't
got the
scary.
timing.
You ain't
got
scary,
the
Michael
speed that you
Perry.
need.
All you are
All
is
you
Perry.
got is greed. And
You
you're
don't
gonna
want
bleed.
this? I'm gonna take a piss all on your grave. You ain't brave. Listen to me, brother. I'll show you who the American badass is. Thought it was your brother, the USA champion.
Oh yeah, that's right. He is the U.S. champion.
Barely beat Dylan Dennis.
That is right.
Fucking
Bro, that was crazy bonkers with those two.
man.
And look, whenever Mike Perry, like him or hate him, for some of the craziest shit.
You
that's come
can't
out.
hate Mike Perry, right?
Like, yeah, you some of the crazy. Go and tell Michael J. White that. Like, Michael J. White was to fucking knock his head into his fucking backside. Like, trust me, there's a lot of people that wants to get their hands on Mike Perry for some of the crazy shit that he said. But we're not gonna go there right now.
That brother's got 2% too, remember?
Exactly that. And then this is one of the things that Michael J. White is. He's tough. He wants to grab that brother. But look, Mike Perry, Jake Paul, they're gonna get at it on Saturday. It's still kind of alluded to the fact that the Mike Tyson fight is still kind of alive or something. I don't think nobody gonna sanction that. I hope they don't sanction it. I hope it never happens. But this Mike Perry fight, I'm very, very excited about. And this Saturday night, I'm going to be doing a watch along for that fight. So make sure you come and join us. 2 a.m. onwards, we're going to be doing a watch along for that fight, and we're going to see what happens between Perry and Jake Paul. We're going to be reacting to it live as well. So make sure you come and join us on the Fight Week show. Now, I'm going to come to you first. On this fight here, you see what Mike Perry was saying to Jake Paul, that look, I'm not like all these other MMA fighters you fought. You fighting man that's been over the hill. I'm just coming into my prime. I've actually left the UFC. I've gone into BKB where there's a little bit of boxing tendencies. So these guys, they just left the UFC and come straight to you. I've been kind of doing boxing with no gloves. So I kind of know one or two things to do when I'm in a boxing ring with you. How do you see that whole thing panning out? What do you make of this little kerfuffle they just had over here, on the table in that interview there? What have you made of it all?
Mike Perry is looking jacked. Did you see when he was banging
He
on
is,
the
isn't
table?
he? Mate, his arms look thick as fuck. His neck's absolutely popping. Those veins are absolutely fucking bulging with blood, man. That dude is ready. Like.
Look, so from that perspective, we know muscle gets tired, and there are gloves on. So yes,
You
he's
say all
been
of that,
doing.
the muscle gets tired.
We'll bring it right back. You know what I mean? Like,
I learned from Al Hassan, do the but it gets tired, and now it's with gloves. Now gloves is different. It might be lighter gloves than normal boxing gloves, but it is different to bare knuckle. I respect the crap out of Mike Perry. I think he is a badass platinum Mike Perry. All the fights he's taken, what he did to Luke Rockhold in bare knuckle. But Jake is right. This is still, now it's gone back to almost pure boxing, and with the gloves, where it comes to scoring points, not necessarily being able to take shots and give shots, Jake has the advantage, very slight advantage in that fight, I would think. But I mean, with as hard as Perry hits and the kind of shots Perry can take, I think I'm gonna go Mike Perry by an edge, simply because it's slightly different rules than what he's used to. Jake has been fighting with these rules. He is therefore more proficient at these rules with that weight of gloves. So he does have the edge. But I think Mike Perry might just get him with a punch that'll let's say a gut punch, take him down. Perry wins the fight. Let's go. MMA fighters have finally defeated Jake Paul.
Did you just say take him down in a boxing fight? Bro.
No, I meant like gut punch, like and then gut check.
All right, I get what you're saying. Mac Dane, let me get your point of view on this one. I mean, this two are crazy. It looks to me like Mike Perry's been to see Vito Belfort when he leaned over that table there. Bro. Like,
TRT Perry. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Mate, yeah, I mean that whole Hulk Hogan thing was a bit cringe, a little bit. Like they dragged that on a little bit too long. But you might have the rhyming, but you ain't got the timing. That shit fucking broke me, and then that'll just go down to experience at the end of the day. Like this is Jake's toughest test. Like you can't deny it. Everybody's come up against. Mate, like you could probably even throw Tommy Fury in there just for the technical skills that he would have going into this, and the most experience in the boxing world was probably his toughest test coming up against another boxer, and that's speaking volumes as well. You know what I mean? But I'm backing Perry all the way. Like I want to see him like going. Like say he's come up against Luke Rockhold. He's gone in there against some of the fucking baddest men on the planet as well, like Eddie Alvarez and whoever else he's fought against. Who was the guy that he fought?
He just done MVP over, bro.
And and he's a dog, bro. He'll just walk you down and take the shot. And these two men have sparred before. I don't know if you've seen the footage of that as well, where I think he said Jake landed two of the hardest shots that he could land on him whilst they were sparring, and Mike was kind of like, yeah, you got me, but like as if he was playing the game, like, yeah, you got me, bro. Let's set this fight up. You got me. You know what I mean? Like, so I think he knows. I think he knows he can get this done. I agree with what Yao's saying. You know what I mean? Like when you take it down to points and you look at it across 8 rounds, Muscle does get tired. Yes. Can he edge it over the 8 rounds and try and play the point game? I think he can, because we've seen Jake Paul get tired too. Even against Diaz, he got tired. You know what I mean? And Mike Perry's going to hit harder than Diaz does. That's for sure.
Yeah, man, 100%. Big Shad, what are you making of this fight? Because again, I mean, I want to say Mike Perry does sound a little bit like Mike Tyson when he was talking there as well, especially at the beginning. Almost sounded like word for word like Mike Tyson. But look, is it going to bring Mike Tyson energy into this fight? Because to me, Jake Paul is a very, very underestimated sort of boxer because of his background and where he comes from. But people didn't know that this guy been taking boxing seriously for a minute, and it keeps shocking people. But the Fury fight, he's done all right up until now. Do you think he gets past Mike Perry?
For me, I would have to agree and disagree with Yao in terms of points, because if we look at MVP if he's a point fighter, his style of striking. When he fought Gary, you could see like his style of striking is a point. He comes from a background of karate, and that's very dangerous because why? Footwork is very key when you're fighting point game. And for him to get knocked out by Mike Perry, that's when Mike Perry had my respect in that fight. He's a dog, and he's not afraid of hitting your punch and then giving you maybe 1 or 2 there. Because in the end of the day, it comes down to, can you handle what I can give you? Yeah, you understand? So Mike Perry, I feel like, is that type of man that he's more than willing to take what you can give, but now he's going to have to ask you a question. And now you're going to have to answer that question as well. So, like Jake Paul, I agree with you as well. Like Jake Paul, people underestimated him, and they still do underestimate the kid because, I mean, he's a YouTuber, yes, but then he goes into a boxing gym with good boxing coaches that are giving him good fundamental. But now in that case, in that ring, it comes down to who's the dog, who can bring the dog out. And Mike Perry is a nasty motherfucking dog. So yeah, for me, I feel like Mike Perry will just walk him down, eat 1 or 2 of his punches, and drop him if he has to, or knock him out if he has to. So for me, I don't think that fight will, if it ends, because Jake Paul is a bigger boy, is not in size but in height. I feel like Jake Paul is going to have the biggest advantage when it comes to reach. But if he can't utilize it well, then it's going to be a long day in the office for him. But I'm still going for Mike Perry on this fight.
Yeah, man. Looks like we got a unanimous Mike Perry win here. Everybody wants Mike Perry to win. Yeah, we're going to be here Saturday night. And we're going to be running a watch along for these people. So make sure you come and join us on the Fight Week show. We're going to be here on Friday night as well, doing the prediction show, the first prediction show back, because we missed one last week. And we're going to be owning our points and scores as well. So come and join us on that one. And on Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time, we have Dricus Du Plessis. Dricus Du Plessis is going to be joining us. We're going to do a special Dust Up Shakedown episode. I'm going to talk to the boys and see what their availability is. But we're going to have Dricus Du Plessis, 12 p.m. UK time. So make sure you keep that in your diary. Make sure you're hitting that notification button so it lets you know when we go live for that show. And of course, next Wednesday, we have the champ or the former champ, Luke Michael, is going to be joining us because Luke Michael and Dricus Du Plessis, they are headlining EFC 116, right? And another competitor on that card is Blammy. Shadrach Usua is right here with us, and you're going to be competing on that. You're going to be competing on that card, brother. On your last outing, it didn't go well for you. You know, you didn't end up in the win column, but you learn. And you're ready to come back. I feel like it's the right time to come back as well. But tell us how you're feeling in this going into this fight. What your camp is feeling like. How the body's feeling. And what you took out of the last fight going into this fight, brother?
Honestly speaking, after the loss, I thought, man, what's next? And took about a week off, spoke to the coaching staff, spoke to people very close to me, and the support, the support is just tremendous, man. I mean, for people to back me up even on my most downfall in life, and that uplifted me, and it made me see, look here, regardless of whatever happens in there, the sun is going to shine the next day. Go back to the gym, point what's the mistake was, pinpoint what went wrong, and fix it instead of you beating yourself up. So, like I said earlier, I'm glad this happened early in my career. Because it taught me the biggest lesson in my life of knowing on how to actually handle things in there, and how to actually make sure that things are going way 100% according to the plan that we've worked around, not deviating away from it because of emotions or whatever that can happen in the cage. And the camp has been tremendous. The camp has been amazing. It's physical, but it's a lot more mental, not negative, but a lot positive things that are happening mentally. Preparation has been great, and like, look, I'm not going to take anything away from Kulukani. He's a good fighter. I've seen him fight. He comes, when he shows up, he shows up. And for me, I want him to be his best on that day, because I want to bring the best out of myself as well, with the skills that we've seen that I can portray out there. And like, look, I want to make it a very long night for him in the cage as much as I can, and I want him to make mistakes so that I can capitalize on it. So the camp is amazing, and the team has been really wonderful to me, and it's a bit tricky because we've got guys that are fighting in versus. Versus is Cameron Simon's promotion. So we've got like 3 guys that are fighting in versus. 2 of them are headlining common event and main event. And then one of them, I think, is going to be fighting for the #1 contender spot. So they helped as much as they could. And I'm getting guys, big bodies to come through, help me with a bit of wrestling, help me with a bit of striking here, footworking. We've been keeping ourselves very busy, with the range work, with footworking. And I want to look different. I want to get in that fight, and Sayce and Cameron and Soldier Boy on the mic. They want to be like, damn, is this still Blamby, or is this like a different fighter in there? And like I said to Sayce as well the last time, I don't want to get in a cage and just make it a comeback. I want to make sure that it's a very special comeback. I want to make sure that the comeback is, if it's a finish and a submission, it has to be, a very rare one, a very good one, a highlight. It has to be a highlight. And if it's going to be a knockout, then why not make it a highlight knockout as well? So yeah, I'm very keen for it. And for me, it's a big motivation into this fight, going into this fight. Why? Because I've got 2 guys that are the guys that are headlining. They most definitely have to be my radar. Why? Because they're middleweight in my division, and they're on the top of the food chain in my division, and that's what I'm chasing. That's what I want. I want to be right there in the top. And good luck to both of them. I'm rooting for both of them, regardless of whoever wins. But yeah, they should just know, like, hey, we're keeping an eye. And I love the fact that I'm going to be right there in the night to make sure that I see who's the next target. Because yeah, man is just putting the target behind their back now. and I'm out here just chasing greatness. So greatness will have to come for me to take one of those two. So why not? Yeah.
You see, Rosie's just here trying to get me killed now. You know what I mean? Like, I would never say such a thing, Rosie. Rosie, I would never say what. No.
Yeah.
Big up yourself, Rosie. Rosie's son also
No,
competed.
he said he
good
he
luck
could
in
take
the
you
run.
for a beer after the fight. That's what he was saying.
Yeah, that's all I mean.
Why
Yeah,
not,
what?
brother? The celebration
No.
is needed.
Me, I just like to watch violence from an armchair, man, and talk about it. That's where I draw the line. You know what I mean? I'm not getting in there with these savages, right? These guys are savages. Do you know that? Yeah, Rosie. So please, no. No. I'm not even thinking about nothing like that, man. You know what I mean? Never trying to take one of these guys. But let's open the floor up to both of these our panelists here in McDane and yeah, we'll let McDane go first. You know, you got one or two questions for Big Shad over here in terms of EFC 116, brother.
Yeah, man. So obviously we spoke earlier, mate. Like you said a second ago, you're just taking this thing one step at a time, really, and you're thinking more about the mental aspects and that's the physical aspects. So what type of things have you been doing in preparation, like just to prepare your mental, like just a little bit more detail?
So in a lot more details, we didn't like the thing I like about this the preparation towards the fight is the coaching staff. We've been doing a lot of drilling, like a lot. Like, you know, mate, you drill until you're bored. You drill until you fall asleep. You dream about what you've been drilling. You drill, you wake up, you're like, damn it, why is this thing in my head? And look, judo has been fundamentally very strong for me because we've been wrestling, yes, but I've been doing a lot of judo at the moment, and judo enhances a lot of your explosivity and footwork. So, and judo is a lot more mental stuff as well. So it's not just you physically trying to handle or manhandle a person. It's you thinking, playing a chess game, thinking on how to handle everything in there. And like I said, footworking has been key into this fight. So it's like the main thing. And the coaching staff just said, and we don't want you sitting as when you're striking. We want you to constantly moving. We want the man chasing you. We don't want you chasing the man. So, like I said, the fight is gonna start very slow. The fight is gonna start technically just thinking on how to play things inside, because I want to play a game in there. I want to try stuff. I want to get in there. I want to discover things. I want him to make mistakes. So I want to force him in making mistakes. I want to put him in a position where he's going to have to think to push forward. And that's where we want to catch him. So the biggest part of this game plan is just utilizing what we can in there. And I don't want to say now I want us to get there and take him down, or I want us to get there and strike with the man, but we are preparing for both. We want to make sure that we're ready for both. If it's going to be a stand-up, why not? Let's keep nice and long and utilize the reach as much as we can. If we're going to go to the ground, finish it via a TKO, let's make sure that, you know, I love the fact that I was given 3 points in this game, in this fight camp, and it was the main focus of the camp is positioning, control, and finish. So I love it. For me, the coaching staff say, I need you to focus on the positioning. When you get your position, I want you to get your control. When you get your control, look for a finish there. So they're keeping it very simple. They're keeping it very basic. They're keeping it, you know, very smart as well in a way. And I love the fact that they're getting my brain to work instead of just getting my body to work. The game planning is literally just around that. And I told Cindy Lee, who's my judo coach, I told him, I'm like, fighting is in general, like a fighting sport is physics. He's like, I'm glad you say it that way, because it's not violence, it's physics. So set up everything, and if I thought that the last camp was good, because it was a lot of physical things happening in the last camp. But this time, there's a lot more happening mentally, which is like, I look at it, you kind of sit back and really look at everything, and like, wow, this is how it should be. Why didn't I see it this way earlier? You understand? So
yeah,
the camp has been amazing. The camp is still amazing. Yeah,
man.
Love to hear it, mate. And that's why they call it the sweet science, in it. You know what I mean? You're talking about physics there, and like that is the sweet science of it all. Now, mate, all the best for the fight as well, because like couldn't have asked for a better answer there either, mate. That was bang on the money.
Appreciate it.
Yes. Yeah, man. Yao, what do you have for the champ over here in Big Shad?
Plan B. Looking forward to your fight. I think I have 2 questions. Now, this one is more around your previous opponent in the form of Isaac Mulu. Now, I'm not sure if you know this, but he's going to be fighting for the light heavyweight title against JC Lamprecht at EFC, I think it's 117. Now, apparently he's a natural light heavyweight who'd come down to middleweight. How do you think that played into the fight that you guys had? And do you think that gave him a possible mild slight advantage in that fight, being actually the heavier fighter, the bigger fighter, the fighter coming from a heavier weight class?
The one thing actually I never spoke about that fight, or because for me I was like, I'm not going to make an excuse out of that. I lost the fight. Yeah, I'll take it as a man. And like coming into that fight, like I said, a lot happened the day before and on the day. So he missed weight twice. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh shit! Word?
Yeah, a lot of people.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, so my days.
The initial contract was to sign for middleweight. Yes, so like I cut the weight. So on a press conference, which was on a Tuesday, I was about 82 kilograms. And he showed up in a press conference. He was about 95, 97, I think, kilogram.
What?
Yeah. See, yeah. And we agreed on the day, I think it was about 8 hours, I think 8 or 9 hours before we're in. I was told, nah, look, pick up 6 kilos, medium and 88. So I tried my best to pick up 6 kilos, which was kind of impossible in a short amount of time. I think I was about 86 and a half, 87. He showed up at 94 and a half. He still didn't make 88.
That I remember.
And for me, I'm like, look, we had a long camp. I couldn't get a fight, and I'm here. And if we cancel this fight, you know, why did I have a camp? And regardless of the results are gonna come. And look, I knew he's a bigger man, and as a big man, if he touches me, there's a big possibility that he would have put me away. Yeah. But for me, I'm like, I'm an MMA fight. I fight. I want to get in that fight. Weight doesn't mean nothing to me, regardless of you having an advantage of it. It's fine. I'll get in there and fight. So, I guess getting in there, it was more of believing in my skills and believing the fact that, look, I want to fight. I love it. I do it because I love it. And I don't regret the fact that I took that fight, regardless of him being overweight on the night. Because on the night, I think it was about 105, if not 104, something like that. And I was like 92, 93 there.
I'm sorry, Big Shot, before you continue. I mean, and I think this is a very, very good question from Machua Sablan. When they told you to go and pick up 6 kilos, after this motherfucker turned up 95, 96 kilos, what was the strategy for picking up 6 kilos, bro, in the time space that you're supposed to pick it up? Like, was there a buffet somewhere? Like, please, what was the strategy? I'm trying to
brother, I'm gonna tell you something. It is not an easy thing to do, because every time, as much as
Bambi's outside putting stones in his shoes.
The toilet becomes your best friend. I was cutting up as much as I can. Look, I had pastas, pizza. I was carving. I was trying to, like, you know, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna do it. I drank like I don't know how many liters of water that night. Rehydrate, salt, everything. I was just trying to do as much as I can.
Toilet was his best friend, you know. Jesus,
brother, I'm telling you, the toilet was my best friend there. But like, I did try my best to pick up 6 kilos, but I initially, like, I've always been, for me, I've always, every time I've weighed in the EFC, instead of being around 185, I've always been slightly under. Because that's, for me, I'm like, hey, that's how it's done. You got to be on it or a bit under. You can never be a bit over, because there's never been anybody from my gym coming missing weight or slightly struggling to cut weight. So picking up, pretty much for me, the amount of time it was given to pick up 6 kilo was just not enough, I would say. But I didn't want to put it in my head, even though it still stayed in my head. I told Cindy, I'm like, look, you handle it. I just want to focus on the fight. You do what you got to do. You know what to do as a coach. You know what to do as a senior. I just need to focus on the fight. So he did he did the best he could to make sure that I made the weight that I should.
I'm going to say something to you right now. That fight and the result of that fight, to me, knowing what I know now, because I didn't know that then, that just altered everything in my eyes. Because I had no idea that that guy was that much out of the out of the weight, out of the agreed weights and stuff like that. So that's crazy
And
to
you
me.
could
So
see it as well on the day. You could see
I mean,
he was a chunkier fellow. Like,
bro, that changes everything. That changes the whole result for me there, man. And big up to you for even accepting the fight in the first place. You should have stuck his middle finger up to him and told him to fuck off. But much respect to you for accepting the fight and getting in there with him. Anyways, Yao, you have a second question here for Big Shad there before we get out of here.
yeah, I think he's pretty much answered this question for the most part. But obviously, you're going against Cold Steel Kulikani Hlongwa, who you've both beaten Francois Kundari, but he has lost to someone that you had beat in the form of Stefan Pretorius. So, how do you see this fight finishing? And you did explain earlier, but very specifically, how do you want to finish it? And at this point, to be honest, I'm expecting you to say, kick him in the head! But let's see, how do you want to finish the
fight? Hey, like I say, look, we were working a lot, and kicking is like part of it all. I know that man kicks. I know he kicks as well. I know he's got really good kicks, and like I say, if you stand in front of him, he's gonna be a problem. Because I watch his fights, he's basically my best friend now. Because I watched this fight with Roy Lupolo. So I'm just trying to study as much as I can. So I'm trying to implement a bit of kicking in a fight as well. Because the kicking will make sure that I keep him in a range that I want him to stay in. So if he pushes in, why not? We take it down as well. Like I say, in this fight, we've prepared to go the distance. We're prepared to stand. We're prepared to also go down to the ground. But I just feel like with the level of skills that we have in grappling, if he allows us to take him to the ground, I want to go to the most comfortable place that I think it's going to be for me, which is his back. And from there, then I can do my work. And and you guys saw with Stefan Pretorius, when I get into the ground, the control becomes a bit more crucial. And the guys who's on the bottom, he's got a lot of work to do. So, like I say, I really hope and pray that he shows up on the day. He's fit, because I'm gonna show up, and especially when I get him to the ground, like I say, we're gonna be in a position in the most perfect position. Every time I have him, I'm gonna make sure that I'm in a good position. I'm gonna make sure that I control him, and with that, if he's gonna give me both of those, then the finish will be there.
100%. For the people that don't know, Big Shad, if you want to tell people what time, what day the fight's happening, stuff like that, so everybody that don't know about the fight can tune in. Shout out to everybody that's been watching us live. Big up to all of you. Big love. Please, Shad, tell everyone.
Okay, so the fight will be on a Thursday, 8th of August. I'm opening up the main card, so that's going to be around 7 p.m. Actually, for the first time, I know what time I'm fighting. People always ask me, like, what time you fighting? I'm like, I'm not sure. So the main card starts at 7 p.m. I'm opening up the headline. I'm opening it up for them, and I'm actually really glad that I'm opening up. Then I get to sit and watch the whole card, mate. And I'm excited for that. So 8th of August, 7 p.m. Your boy is gonna get in that X and just do what he does best, man.
Yeah, but Big Shad.
First drinks on you, Yao. You better have that sitting there nice and cold, waiting for the man.
I'm gonna look for him. I'm like, when I walked out, come on, I'm like, yo, where my
Oh,
drink
a
at?
gut check. Oh wait, look. I'm not signing up for another gut check. Not with the middleweight. I'm smarter than that.
Oh,
You
at
a
least,
bitch.
yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I respect everything you've done,
it.
Keith. I
Yeah.
respect everything you've done, y'all, but you're a bitch. You're a bitch, man. All I say, you're a bitch.
Yeah,
Hey, people, salute to every single one of you. And hopefully, when Big Shot fight is done, we'll be able to bring you back on the channel, talk to you, see how the
yes,
fight,
sir.
how you felt about the fight, and what's next for you. So we'd love to bring you back on the Fight Week show. And we'd
Just
love to
one
see
more
you.
thing
Yeah, go on.
before you bounce. Obviously, the man just said that it's going to be at 7 p.m. That's 7 p.m. South Africa. If you're in the UK, 6 p.m.
6
Fucking
p.m.
tune
for
in. Don't
you
miss it.
in
I
the
like
UK.
that. I like that. Good.
Yeah, man, 100%. That's time zone just got broken down for you. And like I said, after your fight, we'd love to see you on these two guys' platform as well.
Yes,
The Rambling That podcast, the Head Kick podcast. We want to see your reaction and how the fight went there for you. So yeah, we're wishing you all the best. We're wishing you all the support. You're going to be getting all the support over here from the Fight Week show, from our team, from our people, and we're really rooting for you to get back in the win column, brother.
appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man, 100%. My ding, it's been a wicked evening. What do you got coming up, my bro? What do you got coming up? We know you got some crazy shit planned, plenty. Talk to the people.
I ain't got nothing planned, bro. I'm just chilling. Nah, I've got UFC 304 next week, motherfuckers. I can't wait to get down there and actually fucking watch this shit. So I can't wait, man. Other than that, I have been given a little in with Jared Gordon, so hopefully I'll be able to get something lined up with that, man. Obviously, Shad, love to get you on as well at some point, bro. We'll get that sorted out. And just the usual Dust Up Shakedown prediction shows and a couple of watch-alongs. Obviously, won't be able to watch along, but keep your eye out for the press conference. And if there's a Q&A at the 304, because your man might get up and ask a couple of questions if they've got a mic rocking and rolling.
Come on. Yeah, man, that's what's up. What about you, Keith? Kick him in the head kick podcast. Tell us what you got coming up, my bro.
So we have our EFC 115 recap show, looking at all the amazing fights from EFC 115, the wins from people like Ntando Zondi, and obviously the GOAT, Igor Smiley Kubesa. Then we have interviews coming up with different fighters that will be fighting on 116, including your man right there, Blamby Shadrach Insua. We have Versus 10 coming up this Saturday, Shadrach. Hopefully we'll see you there. Versus 10, it's our local amateur promotion, but the fights are just amazing. We've got Kanyo Makam fighting in the middleweight title at Versus, and that fight, I can't wait for that man to go pro. But that fight is going to be absolutely fantastic.
That kid is a problem.
Oh, he's a big problem. I covered his fight at the MMA SA Nationals. I was literally the cameraman right there. He's violent.
You should see the co-main as well. You'll focus on the co-main too. Like the three fights for me on the night will be between Atingosi Shati Mongwe. Very good, very, very good when it comes to striking. The kid is got mean kicks. So that for me, like he I'm sorry to say it, but he's like a much explosive version of Trongwe, and he's got movement with that. So Atingosi Mongwe, one of the kids you need to watch out for, and Sisa Jungula, who recently just won the African champs. He's going into the world right now. That kid, even Dricus said it himself that kid is going places. For Dricus to say that, I mean, that kid is a problem. And then you got Kanyo Makam himself. And look, that boy, I've seen that boy grow. Like I've seen him from going into like the worst streak in his career. Because I think there's a point of life when he kind of went for like 3 losses in a row. It kind of went in his head. And the one thing I love about that kid, he's not the type of kid to put his head down and just bury his head into the ground. Like, he went back into the gym. He worked as hard as he could, and like whenever I'm striking with him, I must make sure that I'm sharp, because that kid is an issue, and he's strong. Yeah.
Yeah, man. 100%.
So that's what we've got going.
Yeah, man. We are going to be keeping an eye on that, people. Make sure everybody you're supporting the Kick 'em in the Head Kick podcast. Make sure you're showing them some love, and make sure you're subscribing, and you're going to follow Blaming Shadrach Unsua on Instagram. His handle is going to be in our description below, people. Make sure you're showing him some love. And Rosie just said about RoboCop on tonight at 11:30, Blues Brothers. Make sure you go and check him out as well. Salute to my brother RoboCop Wolfie. Is in they got some Enzo Fernandez problems going on over there right now, man. You know what I mean? Enzo Fernandez telling all the French people they're from Senegal, they're from Africa, they don't belong playing for France, and all this kind of shit. There's some crazy shit that been going on, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a whole different racist program going on over there in Chelsea Football Club. But we're going to turn up at Wolfie's channel 11:30. Make sure you go over there and show him some love, people. And
I've just been sent an update on UFC 304 of 42 minutes ago, maybe a little bit more than that. Callum Loughran versus Raymond Tavares is off. Tavares is out with an injury, so hopefully they can get another matchup, because that was going to be a banger too. Like.
Let's hope they get a fucking replacement, man. Let's hope they get a replacement. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That would have been a big one, but yeah, let's hope they get a replacement. All right, people. Thank you to everybody that's joined us tonight. Salute to every single one of you. If you're watching live, if you're watching on playback, yeah, man, you guys have been fantastic, and we are going to be back for our prediction show on Friday. Make sure you join us on Friday. Saturday, 12 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. SA time. We're going to have Dricus Du Plessis, which is one half of who's going to be fighting for the middleweight title on that card that Big Shad is going to be competing on. And on Wednesday, we're going to have Luke Michael. He's going to be coming to join us on here, and he's going to tell us all about how he's preparing for the fight on another Dust Up Shakedown episode. And yeah, we're going to chop it up with him on this very channel here. So make sure you're keeping it locked on the Fight Week show. Make sure you're showing some love, and make sure that you're sharing, you liking, you subscribing, doing all of that good stuff. And up until the next video, people, hasta la vista. We're out. Salute. Big love.
Peace.
The Fight Week Show.
Hey guys, this is John Anik from the UFC. You're watching the Fight Week Show. Please subscribe. Not now.